My friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So we are starting the mushroom quilt, the Hat Day pattern my friend Wendy Shepard did for the Tiny Secrets fabric, for my Tiny Secrets fabric. And that's going to be the first thing we talk about today. Talk about mushrooms and getting those going. I want to show you how the color placement is so that if you're not using my Tiny Secrets and mimicking color placement, I'll show you what mine looks like. So let's take a look. For our quilt with the Tiny Secrets, the balance of colors is what I want to talk about here. So I've got on the first row blue, the kind of very pale yellow with the mushrooms, and then the pink, and then the white. And then you'll see looking down, I've got blue in the first row, blue in the second row, plus a little baby mushroom, just the baby mushroom on the third row, and a mushroom cap, big cap, on the fourth row. So you can see how the blue, easily, then another little one down on the fourth row. Same like the dark red, we've got two of the dark red, plus the gingham, which also reads as red. So 1, 2, 3, and then the gingham up here. So they're spread out to make your colors even. That pale yellow with the mushrooms is row 1 in the little one. Whoops. Somehow I got that. There we go. Row 2, row 3, the big cap, little cap, row 4. So you can take a look at the photo, and if you want to balance your colors, you can make the same number of fabrics that I have and then balance yours out in a similar way. So if you have your fabric 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you want to just make placement, your fabric 1, your fabric 2 would be where my mushrooms are, your fabric 3. So if you're not using my fabrics and don't want to mimic it exactly. Next week I will show you one of the other colorations that Wendy did as an option, so that's kind of fun, and we'll look at another coloration next week. So it is something you can actually use as a formula. If you use the same number of colors for your bundle, then you can just sort of place it. The red, like I showed you. Let me show you a little bit about the construction. Of course, this is a pattern, so I'm not giving you directions or anything like that. But I do want to show you the units of the quilt, because of the block, because I think that's sometimes helpful to understand where you're going with things. Make a test block if you're uncertain, if you've maybe never worked with Wendy's patterns before, because each person, has their own style of writing. And so you have a big unit, you'll be working with a big rectangle to start the mushroom. And because there's, the mushroom has the bottom of the cap, and that is a strip that will be sewn on there. Then you're doing sew and flips on all the corners. And down here is the same thing. You're doing rectangles with sew and flips. And that's pretty much it. That's the block. And we're going to repeat those through the whole thing. Like if you're somebody who likes to work in units, you could sew a bunch of your caps at once. You could work in an entirely different method, make all your caps or make all your little blocks. However your brain works, we all enjoy the quilting process a little bit differently. Let me show you the one that you do a few less of these. Maybe is it one a row? I don't know. I didn't count. But here you have a little bit smaller cap. See the difference? And also it is angled differently. Do you see that? These are angled up. That's angled down. Right? Is that right? Or am I wrong? No, I think I'm right. I'm upside down. Yeah, they're opposite. And then you have the little ones, which are just rounded at the top to give the mushroom shape. So, and then you can pick whichever kind of color for stem that you have. If you're using Tiny Secrets, these are solids that are not in the fabric line. But the background is fabric line, and all the other prints are my fabric line. Okay, so that is how you're going to work with Tiny Secrets. We also have this week 2 of the Jolly Bar, but I will do that in a minute because I want to talk about 2 raffles. One is you bid on, and the other one you buy a raffle ticket. There we go. Got to get it right. So first, let's look at Make-A-Wish. So Make-A-Wish is buy a raffle ticket. So there's 3 different quilts out there. Mine with Tiny Secrets, one by Lisa Alexander, who is marketing director at Moda Fabrics, and it's done in solids. And then she has a really pretty print on the back. And then there's Kimberly's at the Fat Quarter Shop. Of course, this is their fundraiser, and Kimberly's quilt that she made for the fundraiser for Make-A-Wish is also up for raffle. So what's really fun is because they're raffles, you can buy a ticket for all three, just whichever one you want. And that is now active, so you can go out and buy tickets. The second thing, which is an auction format, is a fundraiser for the Virginia Quilt Museum. And so I had made this small quilt that we did as an for 30th anniversary. So there's a bunch of anniversary quilts out there. Mine is the butterfly, which is custom quilted by my friend Suzanne Yerkes, and this is just it is so delightful, and I know a lot of you love my butterfly, so you could bid on it. So it's a bidding part because of it being a fundraiser. There actually is, if you are feeling generous to the Quilt Museum, you can actually outright purchase it. It's a little bit pricier to do that, but if you are wanting to donate a larger sum to the museum, you could actually outright purchase the quilt. And so I'll link you to the page, and there's also close-ups, and you can see the close-up of the embroidery label that I put on for this one. I used one of my embroideries from the Baby Lock. So it was a lot of fun to do. The concept was to take the logo of the Virginia Quilt Museum from 30 years ago, and then use it as inspiration for how we did the block. So you can go out to the page. I'll also link you to the page where you can see all the other ones up for auction, and they're all different styles and interpretations, and they're just amazing. I believe they're 30 inches square, so they're a wall hanging size. And just a beautiful way to support the Virginia Quilt Museum. And thank you if you bid. Mwah. And thank you if you buy a raffle ticket as well for Make-A-Wish. This is the sampler that we're doing blocks twice a month with the Fat Quarter Shop's newest Jolly Bar sampler book. These are always so great. The different blocks have a full quilt. And what we do for the sampler here is you take one of the blocks and you just make one or a couple of them. This week you're doing the four corners. So that block is in the four corners, is called the Holly Berry Quilt. There you can see it, the Holly Berry Quilt on page 30. And in the book, every one of the blocks is made into a full quilt, and it tells you how many Jolly Bars you need to do it. There is this one made up. And so I am using, Corey Yoder's A Bloom fabric. That is what I'm using, which has got grays, light peach, kind of peachy oranges, and greens, and a little aqua. And so I showed you that the other week. Of course, when you buy a Jolly Bar, it also comes with a free pattern, which is exclusive to that collection. And some of those then get put into the Jolly Bar books later on in time. Okay, let's look at my blocks done with A Bloom. They are so pretty. I think that the line feels a little bit fall, which I think is awesome, because I could use a fall quilt with kind of these colors, because I'm kind of converting a lot of things to much more lighter colors with this peach. So the four corners, now you will not get the setting yet, because the Fat Quarter Shop gives you the setting for the sampler at the end. I want to say that each time. My friend Bobby helped me sew these because I was not able to do any sewing since end of May, and so she's been helping me. And to make it easier for me, we put the some of the setting units on already, so you won't have that part of the pattern. Also, the Fat Quarter Shop out on their website has, I'll tell you that while I'm showing you the rest of them. The Fat Quarter Shop has a single pattern direction, not the full pattern, but sort of telling you how many units to cut for one block, or in this case for 4 blocks, versus you having to figure that out by reading in here. You do need the book to get the sizes, but they will tell you how many units, how many of these squares do you need, etc. So here are my colors. Look at these. Look how gorgeous this is. And what's fun with these samplers using a collection is that you get a scrappy look that's controlled color with a collection. And I think that is just so, so beautiful. So there we go. And so for many of you, you like to see backs of a block, and Bobby presses open. And so there is a good example of one of the blocks where she presses open for her seams. If you like looking at that, there you go. There you go, my friend. Okay, a couple other things today. Excited to be talking to you, really am. Before I talk about the panel, tell you where that's from. Well, from the Fat Quarter Shop, but tell you about it. I did put out another little schedule. So basically I'm working on just Wednesday videos unless I happen to do another one. But I'm not scheduling anything else but Wednesday videos through September. But the second page, and eventually I will probably just have this as one page down the road, which is just a project page. So and then maybe saying at the top of that, you know, just Wednesday videos. And that just has to be in for a little while. And I'll just give a tiny recap at the end about my mom, for those of you who want to know. So about that panel, which I'll uncover, I'll bring it up here in a minute. So one of our friends in the community made this free pattern from the Fat Quarter Shop that is from one of Teresa Kogert's brand new lines that's fall oriented. And so I went out and looked at, I just think this little house is so stinking cute, and I think it's very doable for something. And you could make it bigger by putting more borders, or you can make 4 houses and make a bigger quilt. I mean, you could do something like that if you wanted something bigger than a wall, you know, small wall hanging. But that size fits in my kitchen really nicely. So I'm thinking that is where I might just make this up. So of course, thinking that I would make it up, I went and got some fabric. First, let me show you a panel. The fabric line by Teresa Kogert is called Gal Friends, like spooky gal. But, you know, she has such a really delightful drawings that always speak to me. You know, I really love her style of artwork. So she draws all this. Look how cute this is. And it's got at the bottom all these little guys down here, the veggies. So, you know, aren't they, they're just so cute. And her sweet girl, sweet girl there. And the funky little owl, he's so cute up there in the corner. So I had to get the panel. Now the panel is not used in the house, but I think I'm just going to have it quilted and put some binding on it and just use it as is, because it would fit nicely over my one cupboard in the dining room. All right, let's take a look at the fabric that does get used. I didn't buy one of the pieces, and I didn't realize that till I got it all. You know, that's how it is. So what the pieces in the window, let me show you. The pieces in the window are using a different companion. Let's just do, so this companion is what I will use for the window. But the one in the pattern is slightly larger images, which is fine. Mine will just be slightly smaller unless I dig around in my things and find something else. And then I got the moon with this kind of stars swirling there. I think that's really, whoops, let me just pull up here. That's really sweet. And so I just got a bunch of the different colors. This is actually a vine with little jack-o'-lanterns on them. Oh my gosh, so stinking cute. And then a stripe. So, you know, the house, I think I have to add a few pieces to actually do the whole house, which is fine. You know, I think I forget. I have to look at it again, but I think there's a few pieces that I'm like, okay. So I will do, I'm starting to feel like I want to sew something, something new, because that's kind of what feeds my soul, is like doing something new. So anyway, and I am going to try to film a Tuesday, even though it's not on the list. I'm going to try to film a Tuesday for the first Tuesday in September, a Tackle It Tuesday. Might also have a scavenger hunt on that one, or maybe I get a second Tackle It Tuesday later with a scavenger hunt, and they'll probably be a little bit smaller videos, or maybe I'll show some stuff I got in and do a Tackle It Tuesday a scavenger hunt. I don't know, something like that, because I do miss the Tackle It Tuesdays and the kind of theme things. Doing once a month right now is a little, I mean, once a week right now is hard to fit those in. So I'm going to try to do another one. So let me just give you a little update on kind of my schedule and how things are going with Mom. My mom's name is Bonnie, by the way. It's Bonnie Lane. My first fabric line with Benartex was named for her, you know, to celebrate my mom. Okay, so Mom is still in the rehab. She's, you know, feeling much better, but she still has a couple of very serious illnesses besides the AFib, which is under control right now. So the AFib is not happening, so that's really good. But she has a couple other things that are quite serious. That's something that we have to, she and our family, you know, just have to help her through. And it's, you know, that's what it is. Everybody is, at some point will encounter that, either with family members or yourself, your spouse, significant other. So it's something we're all, you know, it's a not fun part of life, but when you're 85, sometimes things start to happen, and that's kind of where she is. But she's doing pretty good with it, and that's great. We're just trying to get her healthy enough, a little bit stronger. That's what it is. We're just trying to get her a little bit stronger, build a little bit more strength back, so that she can get into her new place where we have it pretty much ready for her to go, and it's you know, so that's what she's looking forward to as well. And I want to thank all of you so much for all of your very kind words and things that you've some of you have sent some things. I can see them in the mail. I don't have them from here, but Mom has really enjoyed. Some of my friends have sent her a card, sent her cookies. So she's been just so thankful that for anything, any kindness. So thankful for the kindness you have shown. And my mom also has Alzheimer's. You know, it's not real strong yet. It's very light, but it does show up, you know. So, you know, there's, like I said, there's just a lot of things that she works with right now. Okay, my friend, you can make, let me just fold this down. You'll make 4 of these for the sampler, and it's 2 weeks before the next assignment. You can go to the project page to see that, and then you're going to work on mushrooms. There are mine up there. We're going to do 4, the royal we will be doing, you'll do 4 mushrooms for this size quilt for the week. Okay, here we go. So I gotta get further away. So, okay, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone, and thank you for participating in the Make-A-Wish and the Virginia Quilt Museum raffle and auction. So I'll see you online.